Well, welcome, Crazy X, to Paranormal Tuesdays. Today, we're going to be talking about my paranormal origin story, how I got started. And it really goes back to probably a little bit before October 2006. There was a television show, I believe it was actually kind of new at the time. It was called Ghost Hunters. Did you guys watch that show? Followed the Atlantic Paranormal Society. It was kind of funny because that was their website, was the Atlantic Paranormal Society, and people used to always kind of tease them and give them a hard time. Like, can't you shorten that website? I mean, they couldn't be taps.com because that was already taken. So that was their website, was the Atlantic Paranormal Society.com. Uh, but anyways, back kind of a little off subject there. But the main point of that was when I was watching the show, one of the guys on that show is a guy named Grant. And Grant was talking about how, back in the early days, hundreds, thousands of years ago, when we had thunder and lightning, people thought that that was the gods, and the gods were angry at us, and they were, shooting bolts of lightning down at the people. And that was the truth. That was the accepted belief that lightning were gods angry at us and shooting lightning, and we'd hear the thunder from the lightning strikes. And because everybody accepted that, it was kind of like the truth. There was no, you didn't doubt that. You'd be crazy. But all these years later, no, we have scientific evidence of what that is. And I mean, it's not, I mean, we don't really have gods. We have a god, but I mean, that's, everyone's got their own belief structure on that. I do believe in God. It's, I don't know, for me, it's kind of a lot more acceptable to believe in. And also too, I mean, think about it. You were designed, you were created by a man with love who cares about you, that built you specifically to a plan, or you're an accident. I mean, take your pick. You were carefully thought, created, loved, developed. I mean, look at the DNA structure of all of us. A person created all that detail. Or it's just an accident. Yeah, I choose that I was created with a plan. But I mean, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna preach. That's just my belief. But anyways, so Grant was talking about how we now have a explanation. We now have science that says what lightning is, what causes lightning, and it's not the gods being mad at us. And who knows? Maybe one day, with enough research and investigations, we'll have more of an explanation of paranormal activity. And I like that. I mean, it's like, I just, yeah, you research it. More UFOs are seen by amateurs, by regular people, than the experts. Because a UFO is an unidentified flying object. If you're in the aviational field, if you've studied aircraft, if you work for the military and work for top secret military planes, and you see something, you can identify it. I mean, what's this? Like, what exactly is this? Can you identify, like, who makes this, what this is? Oh, it's unidentified. Oh. Because, I mean, yeah, a UFO is not saying it's an alien. It's just saying, I can't identify this flying object. That's all a UFO is. In paranormal, what is it? Trying to think of that term real quick. But yeah, I guess paranormal activity just means above normal. Paranormal, that's what it is. Para means above, normal. Above normal. It's not normal. It's not natural. It doesn't happen every time. I can't explain it with scientific reasoning. It's above normal. It's not normal. I mean, that's what paranormal is. So as we start investigating, start researching, we kind of develop and learn more what is normal, what's not normal, and then we can actually explain some of that stuff. Uh, I mean, it's still, I feel like it's still a kind of a new science and everything, and there's still a lot of research to be done in there. I know for me, I've kind of got to the point of the residual hauntings, kind of like the one that happens all the time at the same time. It doesn't interact. It kind of just, it'll walk through a wall, and then you'll research and find out that there used to be a doorway there that it's kind of walking through. Like time and space doesn't really seem to affect it. For me, I almost feel like it's an action that's been set in motion and just continues. Like I don't even really even see that much as a ghost anymore. That's just kind of what I've accepted. Where before, like everything was, oh, that's a ghost, that's a ghost, that's a ghost, that's a ghost. Or it's like, yeah, I feel this is just like a theory I've always had and I've shared with people is if you were to fill up a bathtub and then you were to take your hand and start doing a circle inside the tub. I mean, it could be a tub, it could be a sink, it could be a swimming pool, whatever. But you know, you just kind of start making a little like almost like a whirlpool. Take your hand out. Does that stop on the dime? Does it just urge? No. You've set this in motion and it continues. And I mean, the more force, the more speed that was kind of pushed into that will continue it longer as opposed to a shorter amount of a push, a shorter force that was put into it, and it'll end sooner. I mean, that's just kind of like one of my theories. But yeah, so as I said, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of funny because I'm not a science person. I'm not a big fan of science. And yet I'm into this scientific field kind of. I mean, kind of people consider it unscience, and especially because for it to be paranormal, the results can't be the same, you know, like, so it's like, it's kind of in a way an unscience, but it's kind of still being investigated through science. But so that was the first bit of what kind of got me interested in the field. And one day, I believe it was actually on Halloween, you know, I was wearing, I bought a Ghost Hunter shirt. I think I had the dude run. Some of the old Ghost Hunter fans remember that episode, Eastern State Penitentiary. I think I was wearing that hat, and I went for an oil change. And as I'm sitting there in the, I mean, at the time you'd get out of your car and kind of wait in the waiting area. One of the guys, actually no, I think in this one I was sitting in the car. They let you stay in the cars pretty early on, but they were telling me, it's like, oh, Ghost Hunters, yeah, they're in today's newspaper. I'm like, the Ghost Hunters? They're like, yeah, yeah, the Ghost Hunters were in today's newspaper. I thought that sounded kind of strange, like, because this TV show is based in the East Coast. Why is Jason and Grant in the local newspaper? So I got home, I found the article, and no, it wasn't Jason and Grant. Rather, it was a local team of paranormal investigators. It was a group called Salem Paranormal. And they had a little thing in there, too. It said, like, if you're interested in the paranormal, or if you know, you have a story to tell us, contact us. Well, I'm definitely interested in this paranormal field, so I reached out and I spoke with a guy by the name of Chris. And we just talked for a little bit, and then Chris invited me to meet up with him, and I met up with him, his brother Kent, and another guy named Mike. And after talking for a while, they offered me a position, so you know, I accepted it. We went out a couple nights later where I met another guy, Tom, and you know, it's kind of like a training location, a location that they've investigated in the past and had a lot of experience. So it's an area to kind of test people out, see, how, because the thing with paranormal, I, it's not something that you can say how you're going to respond until you respond. Are you going to run? Are you going to chase after it? How do you handle situations after, there's so much unknown in this area. So, it's good to have like a little training area where you kind of know a little bit of what to expect because you've done, 20, 30, 40 investigations in this area. You kind of have a good feel for it. So we went out there, did that, and then we actually went to another place. And this one, there was a girl that was abducted, and it happened kind of when I moved to this area, so I didn't know a lot of the details. I really didn't know anything about it, but I kind of started doing research on it, and I caught up with my buddies, and I'm like, so I'm looking for somebody who's old and likes pizza. And my buddy's like, hey, wait a second. We were joking, and he's like, oh, yeah, that person you're talking about? I went to high school with him. Wait, what? Dude, I was joking. Like, I was just joking about this, but he's like, yeah, I went to high school. I knew her. I'm like, no way. So I got a little information from him. And when we were investigating this area, I kind of used that information. I said, hey, I have a friend that went to high school with you. Did you know him? His name was this. And I was just kind of speaking. And all of a sudden, like, I'm in an area kind of like here by myself, and then there's another guy back here. So, I'm not investigating solo. I'm well within my team's eyesight. Well, I guess it's best eyesight that you can be in the dark, but we can easily hear, and you can see like the movements and stuff like that. So all of a sudden I just feel this hand kind of like cut my shoulder. Not anything scary, not like it's trying to grab and pull me or yank me, almost like it's there to console me. Like, I mean, kind of going back to almost like a religion. If you ever did like an altar call where you go up there and then somebody kind of puts their hand over your shoulder and they pray over you, that's kind of what it felt like. Just a hand kind of consoling me, just kind of resting on my shoulder to let me know it's there. And I'm like, dude, I'm being touched. I want to call to the guy behind me. Something here is touching me. I've got a presence right here. But I'm like, if I yell, I'm gonna scare this thing off. I'm kind of, I don't know, I think I'm like over rationalizing it because like if I call attention to it, it's gonna freak out and leave, or it's gonna be shocked and run off, or it doesn't want to be seen. I mean, I don't know if it's. I mean, I feel it's a ghost. Like, it can't be seen, so why would it be worried about being seen if it can't be seen? But it's just what my mind is. So I'm like, oh, I got it. I'm going to outsmart this ghost. Yeah, I'm gonna outsmart it. So I have this shoulder pack, and it's got a camera in the back. So I kind of rotated over. I grab my camera, and I take a picture over my shoulder. And I kind of keep on, speaking and taking little photos here and there. And as I'm leaving, the guy who was standing behind me is like, "Dude, come here." He calls me over. He's like, "You have to look at this." And in one of the photos that he'd taken, let's see, kind of like up here, you just kind of, just like right where my hand is here, you almost see like this mist. And then another photo, more mist. And this other photo, it's just fully engulfed. And it's just kind of weird because I'm feeling a hand touch me. This other guy who has no idea, because I wanted to yell and scream, but I don't want to, not yell and scream because I'm scared. It was just, because I want something else. I want someone to document what's going on here. But, for him to have a photo where there's something coming in, and then one where it's just I'm totally engulfed in this mist. So then I go through my photos, and I can find, and I think I've got some of these like on Facebook and stuff like that. I find this photo, and you can see this like mist, this steam coming right off that shoulder blade where I'm feeling this. Nothing over here, but right here where I'm feeling it. So I have the sense of feeling, like I feel something. Somebody who doesn't know what's going on has picture evidence, and then I have photo evidence on a separate camera. So I mean, that's kind of what you really want in the paranormal field. Is if you just have a feeling, well, how can we back that up? Like, how do we prove it? But like when you have multiple things that kind of collaborate, I don't think that's not where I was going for, but that works too. But when you have multiple things that kind of come together, maybe you have an audio recording with a voice as this happens, and then you have but you want multiple things that all kind of link everything together, and that's where you really get strong evidence. So I mean, that was just incredible to get those 3 separate pieces. And shortly after all of this, there was like changes. People kind of left the group. A lot of stuff happened, and I guess like the people that had my contact information left, or people that had my number saved didn't have the name in there. They're like, "Who's this person?" And unfortunately, I got lost in the shuffle of everything, and was just kind of left on my own. And I'm like, this is such a great thing, such a great feeling. I don't know if that's the right word, but it was something I was very interested in, and I didn't want to stop. So while that book, that chapter came to an end, it's like, no, I'm going to keep pursuing this. So I found another, I wouldn't really say group. I mean, it was a group, but it was one where they did larger investigations. And they were doing one on board the Queen Mary. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do that. So I signed up, went on the Queen Mary. This group then also did a second one over at the Stanley Hotel. Went out to the Stanley. I met a couple of people. The Colorado Paranormal Group, I believe it was, CPR, Colorado Paranormal Research. And they were getting ready to do an investigation at Waverly Hills. Ghost hunting the sanitarium. They were going out to Waverly Hills. So I'm like, and they asked if I want to go. I'm like, yeah, definitely. So I got to go out to Waverly Hills. I actually got to do 2 separate investigations at Waverly Hills. Got to do a lot of other stuff from there too. So I mean, phenomenal. And I did mention this earlier. I think yesterday I mentioned this. In the Balls of Motion, it's almost, a lot of things have actually fell into place. They've been set in stone. So, October 31st, we're going to have a special, I believe that's going to be on Sunday. So, we're going to flip it so that, let me see here. Pretty much, I guess that Sunday, instead of being Sports Sunday, it's going to be Paranormal Tuesday, because we're going to have an amazing situation happen. So be on the lookout. Halloween, Paranormal Tuesday on Sunday, October 31st, and Sports Sunday will take that Tuesday. I know some people are kind of looking at this like, what are you wearing? I always got to kind of show this stuff off. So I am wearing my Haunted Museum t-shirt, and some people think it's sexy. I know I'm sexy. I'm sexy and I know it. Come on. But no, this isn't sexy. This is straight edge. I did become straight edge pretty early on. I'm trying to think if I was straight edge when I started Paranormal Investigations. I'm not sure on that one. But I did always wear my straight. I got these hats made, and I'd wear them a lot of times on the Paranormal Investigations. And I know Chris always loved them, and he's always like, I want to wear that hat. So it's like, since this was kind of part of my early days in paranormal investigating, wearing the straight edge hat, figured I'd bring it back. And what? Yeah, yeah, we can talk about that. I don't know if you hear my buddy over here. He's saying, "Ooh." Say hi. Gizmo over here was talking about something that he was reading on the Travel Channel. They recently announced the Travel Channel creepiest places. Yeah, you want to grab that? He hasn't written down here. So, anyway, I decided to talk about a couple of those places on there. So this is from the Travel Channel. Their creepiest places in the United States. Every state, they listed what the most haunted, the creepiest place was. So in California, we spoke about it earlier, Queen Mary. Colorado, Stanley Hotel. Idaho, I've not been to this place yet, but this sounds pretty interesting. The Old Idaho Penitentiary. Might have to check that out one of these days. And Kentucky, Waverly Hills. Oregon, I've not been out here. It's out in Florence. It's the Hachita? Hacita? I think Hacita. Hacita Head Lighthouse. In Pennsylvania, Eastern State Penitentiary. I've had the opportunity of visiting Eastern State a few times. Never for an actual investigation, just during the day. I think the last time was actually pretty cool because I got to go do some of the behind the scenes tour. And I think in one there was like me and like two other people. So we were like led into this area, and this is like behind the scenes stuff. So they would let us in, they would shut the door, and they lock the door. So, we went to like the hospital, and we got to visit that, but, we're locked inside the hospital. And then they had the cafeteria, and I was the only one for that one. So that was interesting as a guard opens this door, lets me into the cafeteria, locks the door behind me. Kind of a little, I'm glad it's not an active penitentiary. Guards just leading you into here and locking you in there. But yeah, definitely a fun place. I do enjoy Pennsylvania. A couple places out there. Of course, I've done the Fort Mifflin. I've done an investigation out there. You've got the Rocky Steps. There's just, I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff down there in Pennsylvania. It's always a place I like to go. That, of course, Pittsburgh. And even though I had to do a 4-hour drive, it was cool because I actually got to hit up. I actually did another investigation at Penhurst State. That one was really cool. I got to visit Puxatawny. I got to see Phil, the actual groundhog. Not from Groundhog's Day, because that's funny. The movie's set, it starts in Pittsburgh, and it's filmed in Pittsburgh. And then they go to Woodstock, Illinois to film Puxatawny. You're already in Pennsylvania. Why don't you just continue in Pennsylvania and go to Puxatawny as opposed to going from Pennsylvania to Illinois? I don't know. It's always kind of been one of those things for me. I was going to go out to Scranton, but I found out like a lot of the shooting scenes from The Office, or a lot of them are pretty much mostly in Los Angeles. Very few things were actually in Scranton, so I'm like, yeah, we'll skip that because it was a couple-hour drive. But I did get to go also to Pigeon Forge. I got to go to Gettysburg. I actually got to go to the most accepted, believed area of the Gettysburg Address. Inside the cemetery, there is a statue, and it states on there that this area is believed to be near the area of the Gettysburg Address. It's not the area of the Gettysburg Address. And through some research and stuff, I was able to find out a little bit outside that area, in a completely different area, outside of the cemetery was where through they were able to kind of like triangulate and through GPS technology, all this stuff is like, yam, it's like right over my head. But he kind of was able to show me the area, so I did get to go there. I thought that was kind of cool to stand in the realistic area of the Gettysburg Address. But there is just so much history there in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. So if you ever get the chance, definitely a place I would recommend checking out. The last two is the Old Thule Hospital. It's the Salem 49 location. I don't know if this is the same one or not. I remember watching Ghost Adventures talking about this one. And like they have this haunted house here. And there's a door. And on the other side of that door over here it no longer is to my understanding, but it was a retirement home. So in October, you have all these old people behind this door in their houses, and you've got all these people, especially on those Fridays and Saturday nights, like at midnight, old people go to bed at what? 3 p.m.? Yeah. Okay, maybe not, but they do go to bed like at 8 o'clock, by 10 o'clock for sure. Haunted houses like go to like midnight, sometimes even past that. So you can imagine next door to your house at 11 p.m. blood curdling screaming. I don't see how that one lasted, but like I said, I don't. I think the haunted house is still there, but I don't think the retirement center is still there. But I always thought that was kind of funny. Like, how does that even happen? And I don't know if that's this one or not, but I do remember there was a haunted house like that. And then the one I also had to laugh at was for Washington State, right above me. The most haunted area of that state, Port Townsend. Yeah, Port Townsend. Not like this building, not this jail cell. The town. Port Towns. All of that town is haunted, apparently. Might have to go check that one out. I think I've been there. I'm not sure. I wasn't there for investigation. Not really. I remember when I went up to take a ferry over to Victoria Island. I think it's Victoria. I think that was Port Townsend, or I think we drew through Port Townsend to get there. But I was actually going for my international paranormal investigation over there in Victoria. But never did do an actual investigation in Port Townsend. All right, well, that is our episode today. Gizmo saying bye-bye. For those that are new here, we are doing daily episodes. We're kind of setting a little bit of a schedule here. We're still new to I'm new to setting this all up. So, I mean, if you do have any questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to leave those. You can definitely leave those in the comments down below. Also, I'm Kid Krazy. Just think RealKidKrazy. RealKidKrazy. That's how you can hit me up. If you don't want to leave a comment or anything like that, but you have a suggestion or you have a question, anything. I mean, you can email me, realkidkrazy@gmail.com. You can like my Facebook page, Facebook @RealKidKrazy, Twitter @RealKidKrazy, and Instagram @RealKidKrazy. If you do want to write us, send us something, physical address, P.O. Box, is down below. So you can definitely do that there. And we do have a Mercari website. That's kind of one of the things I'm kind of doing a little bit to kind of fund this. I'm not really setting up like a Patreon. I know a lot of people do. I don't know if that's something that we might do in the future. Let me know what you guys think about that. But with the Mercari website, we have a lot of different, like we've got plushes, kitchen items, prints, autographs. I know I've got somebody from, I think it was like one of the voiceovers from um, Mortal Kombat. We actually have the guy who voiced the ice cream truck from Twisted Metal. I've got an autograph print from him. But that's all on the Mercari website. I have that link down below. And if you're new to Mercari, there is a coupon. I think it says something like $30, but it's $10 off right now. And then if you were to set up a Mercari store and sell like $100, then you get $20. So if you don't want to mess with all that, you can at least sign up and get free $10 for doing nothing. So do check that link down below. But what we're doing right now is the format is Sundays, Sports Sundays. Good news Monday. There's too much depression out there. Let's break that up. Let's get some good news going. Paranormal Tuesdays, that's of course today. Healthy Wednesdays. Since this is my first week kind of doing all these channels, I think we're going to be going over my one of my healthy things that I do is DDP yoga. So I think I'll maybe be talking about my DDP story, how I got involved with it. I'll be sharing that on Wednesday. It's going to be kind of like just my health update. Like, what am I doing? How did I do last week? My weight. You know, some of like the non-scale victories. Because, I mean, we'll go through all emotions and our weight will go up. But that's because we're building muscle. And muscle weighs more than fat. But, hey, look. This is a shirt that I haven't worn in 5 years. And it fits now. It didn't fit last year. You know, there's a lot of stuff like that. We're going to be doing TV Thursdays. That is a day where I think we're just going to do short videos, but I'll be talking about some of the different episodes, shows. A lot of the big shows that I watch are on Wednesdays. So this way I can watch them, and then I can kind of give my recap on them. So be on the lookout for those on Thursday. We have Mercari Friday, where we'll be highlighting some of the items that we have on our Mercari website. And Karaoke Saturday. Still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to be doing that, but we'll be talking about some different karaoke stuff. Maybe I'll try to get like a video or something of me singing. Of course, I don't think the video would always be as good as seeing it live. So be there live. Friday nights I can usually be found at the Graveyard. That's here in Salem, Oregon. So do check that out. Thank you everyone for checking out our video. Stay crazy, my friends, and we'll be back here tomorrow.